Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey podcast, episode 168. Here we are in the home studio recording.
Yeah.
But I was out at Jeepers Jamboree.
Yes, you were.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm great again.
You missed out on a hell of an event, as we mentioned last podcast.
I miss a lot of events.
Oh, man. We're going to call you, if you were a dinosaur, you'd be Missalotopus.
I never.
Oh, that could go different ways. Okay. Anyways, so it is.
But I didn't.
But she didn't. I don't know. So here we are. It was so busy, as I described last podcast, being on the food crew, which was so much fun. I keep looking back at photos and stuff, and been posting some stuff up on the gram. The steak reel.
Oh yeah,
where we just, and a lot of people were doing that, just walking down, the serving line where we had all the steaks laying out. Plus, they were in the center. I mean, there was 1,600 steaks.
Well, I mean, just put it in that's a shitload of steak. Just so you know, that's a lot of dead cow.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and these were big New Yorks. I mean, they weren't small little.
No, they were huge
cuts.
I wonder what they each weighed. But I mean, just think about like going to like a Charlie's Steakhouse or a Ruth Chris. They don't cook 1,600 steaks in one night.
No.
They might do 200-300.
I would imagine, yeah.
But 1,600, they would blow up.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So that's I mean, and to hear, well, we'll roll into it in a minute, but I mean, I obviously pre-listened to the episodes, and I mean, the content is fantastic. The organization that goes into making it happen is epic, and it's a lot of chow, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it is, and so I was new to this thing. I just kind of kept my mouth shut and said, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and just taking direction. And so Sunshine.
Did you get dishpan hands?
I did not. My hands are so dry and chapped, it doesn't matter. You can't tell the difference. They actually probably were better at the end. They definitely were cleaner.
All right, Madge with Palmolive.
Yeah, you're going way back now. But here we are, and so I said, I got to catch a couple interviews here, and Sunshine being in charge of this food operation, and I like to set up. We've done like 30 people in camp before for a meal plan for a week at KOH and stuff. And
that seems kind of chaotic.
It is chaotic, but to plan for 1,600 for 3 meals a day, So Alicia,
in the middle of a rugged trail,
in the middle of nowhere, Rubicon Springs. So I said, Sunshine. I didn't know her real name till right before we recorded the podcast. I'm like, what is your real name? Because everybody's got these, as I alluded to, you earn your nickname.
Right.
Sunshine. And she talks about, I don't have one yet. It's going to take a couple years to get one.
Oh.
A good thing is I didn't do anything bad to get a nickname this one. So.
Oh, okay.
So Alicia sat down with me and we talked about some of the logistics and the history of the food crew.
Sure.
And she's third generation. I mean, her grandfather was on the food crew. Her father, Bart's on the food crew. And then she's on the food crew. So really exciting, cool. I love the history and the camaraderie of this group. So let's you want to get into that? Yeah. Hats off to all the volunteers. I mean, there was people, it takes an army, and, it was 70 plus people on the food crew that made this happen. And just Jeepers Jamboree in general, you got the rock rollers and the mechanics as well. But it was nice to be part of that event.
Awesome.
It really was.
Well, let's play this first interview with Alicia from Jeepers Jamboree.
Let's do it. Okay, we are here on remote, Jeepers Jamboree 2022. With Alicia from the food crew, a.k.a. Sunshine. How you doing this morning?
Doing great, thanks.
It is Sunday morning. So how did you get wrangled into this whole thing 25 years ago? You've been doing this for 25 years.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
It's my 25th year.
Wow. So how long have you been in charge of the kitchen, the chow? food crew?
I think it's been about 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
So did you get voluntold, or was this something that you sought out?
No, pretty much voluntold. I mean, I got asked, but the previous kitchen directors were ready to step down and retire, and they continued coming for quite a few more years afterward, but we're looking for somebody else to take over, so Matt and I took over.
Okay, so pass the torch, yeah. So tell me about, I mean, this was my first year here at Jamboree ever, and then first year working the food crew, and I mean, it's highly organized, it's a lot of fun, there's a ton of camaraderie, there's people that have been doing this for years, like yourself. What was the most? 47, 48 years?
I think it was my dad at 45.
45.
Yeah.
Your dad is?
Bart.
Bart.
And he does the water and the power.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right, because I was working with him yesterday. I did pancake batter.
Okay.
And he's like, all right, newbie, he was running me through the ringer pretty good. So this got to be perfect, So it was, the compliment was about halfway through the morning. He said, boy, I haven't yelled at you lately. You're doing all right. That was great. It's quite the character, and that was fun. And then the power went off, and he had to go run up the hill to the generator. So
yes, yeah, I think he's been here 45 years. Dan DeWolf was 44.
Okay.
Brian Huser has 44 as well, I believe. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So a few guys on our crews up in the 40-year range.
Yeah. That's incredible.
And that's how I got here. My dad.
Okay.
And my grandparents volunteered originally because we all work for the American Legion Post out of Placerville, and that's who benefits from all of our hard work, and the money we raise goes back to veteran needs in our community, and then they also pays for the mortgage on the Legion Hall, and kids. They sponsor little boys baseball teams and things like that is what the money that we raise from doing this
community
goes to. And my grandpa was a Legionnaire, so he started out doing this. He was a very dedicated Legionnaire at the local Legion Hall, and then my parents started doing it, and then I started coming about 25 years ago.
Going from generation to generation.
Yeah.
So that's great. And that's how Jeepers Jamboree started, right? Is a get tourists to town and stuff of Georgetown and the area.
Yeah.
In Placerville. And then, giving back to the community is huge. I know the bar as well. They money raised there gets donated
Same.
back.
They're part of our crew, yeah.
Right?
So they're the American Legion volunteers as well.
And then the ice cream is Rotary?
Georgetown Rotary, yes.
Yeah. So let's walk through some of the logistics, because we had 1,600 steaks on the grill last night, I heard.
Correct.
Is that I mean, it was jaw dropping. Everybody was just walking by as getting things prepped for dinner. All the steaks were laying out on the countertops there and getting prepped and
defrosting.
Defrosting, exactly. So let's talk about some of these logistics about ordering all this food, and then getting it here, and then staging it, and then getting it out and feeding breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Correct.
to this motley crew here.
Yeah, so the Jeepers Jamboree selects the meals and orders all the food, and then our crew is responsible for getting it all here and cooking it all and serving it all. And so we do load up Wednesday and Thursday night before the trip and load trailers full. I think we have about 30 trailers to get all the food in here. And actually there's a work party that happened last weekend, and so quite a few trailers came in there too, bringing the non-perishable foods and a lot of bar goods. Okay, yeah, because I got involved with Patrick and Clint and Bob, and then so we met up at his house, and then we headed up and got a trailer and got loaded up. And then we headed up, that was Wednesday night, and then Thursday morning, Dark 100, we headed on up the hill. So, there's 30 Jeep trailers, and it's funny because there's a couple that people don't like. One called Flipper 1 and Flipper 2, and they all have their own character in themselves, these Jeep trailers. They do, yeah. Some of them are different styles, different designs. Some are set heavier, and they're top heavy, and so they tend to roll more often. The meat trailers tend to roll more often. They tend to be top heavy sometimes. It's part of the game. I guess the bar crew rolled the ice trailer, I think 3 times on the way in. So they had to reload bags of ice back into the trailer 3 times on the way.
Yeah, that I saw that trailer come into camp, and everybody's like, "What the hell happened? You rolled?" Oh yeah, 3 times. So
in 25 years, I've never rolled a trailer.
See, there you go.
Knock on wood.
There you go.
But it does happen.
So food crew comes in from the Lake Tahoe side, down Cadillac and into the Springs. And then, you talked about the work party the weekend before to get everything prepped as much as you can. And then non-perishables. And then, like we just said, the perishables come in with all these trailers on Wednesday and Thursday.
Correct.
And then there's a freezer and refrigerator in the back, huge walk-ins. There's a full dish washing line, sanitizing the whole thing. I mean, it's a full
3-basin sink.
Yeah. And
generator, hot water heater.
Yeah, prep area, and then there's prep areas in the kitchen serving area, and barbecues and griddles, and I mean it's
huge barbecue pit.
Yeah, 2 huge barbecue pits. So the food's here, and then coordinating the meals. So you had it very organized where everybody, like for me, I was brand new, and I'm like, okay, how's this work? And you're like, okay, here's the chart. So everybody, you put up a meal prior of what your assignment was, duties.
Correct. So while everybody's in here at work party, I'm back home prepping schedules for this trip. So it takes me the whole weekend before to get those schedules together to make sure I have a whole matrix to make sure I've got everybody on for every meal.
Sure.
Everybody gets a meal or 2 off.
Yeah.
And so make sure everybody's meals off are kind of split up so you don't have 2 meals off in a row, and that the new people don't do dishes more than once or twice. And
twice.
So new people tended to do the dishes.
Dish duty, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's your baptism, your initiation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helps determine whether you'll come back
That's
next
right,
year or
that's
not.
right.
It shows how much you love it.
Yeah.
If you love it enough, you'll be back next year. If not, might be one and
That's
done.
right.
It happens.
Right. No, I plan on coming back. It was great. I love to cook. I set up, I'm only feeding like 20 plus people on our camp trips and stuff, 4-wheeling, big trips, but to see this at this scale was quite impressive. So I got to imagine doing that schedule. I mean, there's the people that don't care, just put me anywhere, and then there's the people that are like, well, don't put me there, I got to be here, or I want to be with so and so, and you got to deal with all that.
Yeah, people do have preferences.
Right.
There's kind of a hierarchy, start with food prepping or serving, and then prepping, and then cooking, and the steak cookers or the meat cookers tend to be the most alumni folks.
Sure.
But then I think at some point those guys realize that it's really hot over that fire all night long, and boiling water to make corn and rice really isn't that bad.
Right.
And so usually at some point people like to get off the grill and do something a little different.
Yeah.
A little more relaxed.
I know your dad seems to take over the griddle at the beginning of the operation there. That seems to be his domicile, right?
Yeah. He likes to make sure it's right.
Yeah. No, that's great. And then Dan, I noticed he's like the what do you call him, the rum runner? He's always keeping the crew well lubricated.
Correct.
We will say.
Yeah. So actually, rum runner was my grandpa's job.
Okay.
And so when he first started, his job was to run over to the bar and get drinks for the crew. And he realized after running back and forth to the bar all night long for a couple years, he decided that why not bring the liquor to the kitchen and just set up our own mini bar in the kitchen, and he would mix drinks there and take them to the crew instead of running back and forth to the bar all night long. So yes, my grandpa was the original rum runner.
That's great. That's super cool. Yeah, I was impressed with the bar setup in the kitchen. So everything from beers to full blown cocktails, and people are, keeping all the glasses full, and it was fun. It was a really cool aspect.
With an all-volunteer crew of 60 people on our crew, we're all here using our own rigs, our own time, our own vacation, our own cost to build our rigs. So really all we get out of this is knowing we're doing a great job giving back to the American Legion, but also the camaraderie with the crew is always great, and free drinks.
Yeah, well, and food, and then shirts,
and
there's
free trip.
Yeah, there's some swag involved, and then just being part of an integral part of the Jeepers Jamboree is very cool.
It's great. It's great to hear everybody tell us how great the food was, how great the people are, and it just feels good.
Well, as we know, the off-road community is just unlike anything else out there. It's super cool. You know, a lot of strangers, but you're all friends at the end of the night around the campfire. And I got to serve one day, and everybody was like, thank you guys for, food's been great, and just tons of compliments. And I did not hear any negatives. I'm sure you've got a few people or something that were upset about something, but overall, I was it was freaking fantastic.
Yeah, not much. I had lots of good feedback.
Yeah. So we're winding down here Sunday morning. So I know, like, the weekend prior was Jeep Jamboree.
Correct.
Right? Okay. And then now there's the side-by-sides coming in after this.
Correct.
So a lot of this stuff carries over, and like the non-perishables and stuff, or how does that all work, or they got their own separate deal?
No, so they do try to bring in extra. That way we have plenty for this weekend, and then whatever's left,
okay,
they'll use for the UTV trip midweek this week, and then they'll bring in whatever they need in addition to that. So the directors will take inventory of what's left here now and figure out what else needs to be brought in this week to serve the UTV trip. And then there's the Jeep Jamboree next weekend that goes Friday through Sunday.
Okay.
And so then inventory again and figure out what needs to come in. And for that trip, we load up Thursday morning, and then we go have lunch in Tahoe, and then head in here Thursday evening, and we start cooking on Friday for that
So you're
trip.
Involved with that as well?
I'll be back next weekend with my 2 kids.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, so that trip, the minimum age is 6.
Okay.
And it's a lot more kid-friendly, family-friendly.
That's what I
trip.
heard.
Yeah, this trip's a bigger adult party, and that trip's more family-focused.
Okay,
so
very
I'll be back
cool.
with my kids.
That's very cool. Yeah, and with we're in one of the most beautiful places in the world here at Rubicon Springs, and you got the river right here, and so that was great. In between shifts, you could go out and hit the river and hang out with friends. I had a lot of friends here that I didn't even know were showing up, and it's just a cool environment. But Jeepers Jamboree, so smaller. So how many people for that trip coming up?
I think there's less than 1,000.
Okay, less than 1,000, which is still a huge amount. Oh my gosh! So, so then you are headed home when? Then are you going home today or tomorrow?
I'll go home this afternoon.
Okay, and get back, kind of
go home for a few days.
Get cleaned up,
wash the clothes,
and
pick
do
up the kids,
laundry. Yeah. Okay, and then back at it.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
And work for 3 days.
Yeah,
go back to work for 3 days.
Sure.
And then come back.
There you go. Yeah, back to reality a little bit, but man, that's awesome. So what? There's got to be a story or a highlight that stands out in your mind over the past 25 years of being involved with this food crew. Anything that jumps out at you? A funny event or something.
I think the fun stuff we've done in between during our breaks, that either just go into the river or some of the other things we've done. One year we put a zip line across the river and let the kids zip line and jump into the river. We used to have trailer boat races where we'd put the military trailers. The mechanics would clean them up and pressure wash them and get them all clean, and we'd put them in the river. And because a military trailer is designed to also be able to be a boat,
right?
And so we would do races down the river in the trailer boats. They did spare tire races for a while where guys would throw a spare tire in, jump on, and race down the river and see who could get down the river the fastest on a spare tire. They have the cornhole tournament.
Right.
So I think some of those are the most fun. We even tried to water ski down the river once by using a winch and pulley system to try to pull fast enough to get somebody to water ski down from the bridge down to here.
How'd that work out?
We didn't quite get him up. The rope, we needed so much rope to get that far down the river and you couldn't have knots or anything in it through the pulleys.
Sure.
And so it just kept jumping off the pulley.
Got it.
So as soon as we'd start to almost get the skier up to speed, it'd jump off the pulley. So it didn't quite work out, but we tried.
It's a great valiant effort.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, one of my highlights was the corn shucking last night. So prior to dinner, and a couple people, told me, hey, you don't want to miss this. Everybody goes over there and shucks corn. And then was it Jason's Jeep? Ryan's Jeep, yeah. So he set up. He was playing Dr. Dre, and all kinds of
dirty rap. That is a requirement for corn shucking.
Dirty rap. There's a big, tarp on the ground, and then boxes of
2 trailer loads.
Yeah, that came in yesterday morning, I guess.
Correct.
Fresh. So it was fresh corn on ice. and then all of a sudden, everybody's just corn starts flying through the air. You know, once you shuck one, you just put your hand up, and here comes an ear of corn flying at you.
Corn shucking has become a thing that people look forward to, and we have a blast with it. And yeah, we shucked 2,100 ears of corn in less than 30 minutes yesterday with a crew of, I think, 40 people.
2,100. I was wondering how many that was. There was a mountain of husk that was literally, 4 or 5 feet tall? Yeah.
On a 12 by 12 tarp.
So when did that tradition start, or how did that get going?
Yeah, when I first started, there was 2 older ladies, and they would shuck corn. That was their job in here, was to shuck corn, and they would shuck corn for 2 days and to shuck all that corn. And it was on the little jamboree that they did it differently, where the whole crew just jumped in and got it done. And so I kind of brought that over to this trip.
Okay.
And just got it to where the whole crew, we just set a time and everybody shows up, and that's shucking time.
And that is, that
shuck.
was well done. I mean, yeah, because
it is a blast.
It was
look forward
so
to it.
much fun. Yeah, that was definitely a highlight for me. I was just like, oh my God, this is hilarious. So. Yeah, so it's stuff like that. I mean, there's so many stories and just the history. It's just a super rich history here. Not only historic Rubicon Trail, but just what has gone on in the springs at these events. And I know they don't fly the choppers much anymore, but that was how the food and stuff got in before, right?
We used to do trailers. We would get extra food if we were missing something or we were running low on something. We'd call for it and they'd bring it in on the helicopter. But no, even on this trip, it's always been hauled in by trailers, even since my grandparents were doing it 50, 60 years ago.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So that's still the same way that it was, okay.
Yeah, the band used to fly in and the band gear used to fly in, so we trailer that in now after a helicopter accident a while back. We really started to limit the helicopter just for
and the
crew
expense
safety.
too.
Yeah, they used to fly the rock rollers out.
Okay.
They would all camp down here, and rock rollers would all get flown to their stations every morning, and then they'd get flown back to camp. And so now they camp along the trail, and then they all walk down here for the Saturday night party.
Yeah, that was cool watching them all come in their overalls. And, I mean, it's all the different volunteer groups. You got the rock rollers, you got the mechanics crew, of course, all the people running camp and keeping those logistics going, the food crew, which was how many people in the food crew?
We have 60 American Legion volunteers, and then we had an extra 16 that were rock roller wives or director wives and other people who come help us out. So we had 76 total in the kitchen.
76 just in the kitchen.
15 in the bar.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's crazy. It was, I mean, it went smooth for that. And like last night, I was just watching that line never went down. And when did the kitchen close down last night? It was like 10
I think it was
something?
about 9:30.
Was it 9:30, 10 o'clock? Yeah. Yeah. And then somebody brought in sausages. Hickory Hank, right? It had these sausage rolls going. I just happened to be right there. And he's like, hey, can you help? And I'm like, okay. And then we just started cutting up and stabbing toothpicks in them and then walking the line.
They were delicious.
Oh, my God, they were. They were cheesy, some type of cheesy hickory. They put barbecue sauce on them. They had a little kick to them.
He enjoys coming, and he brings something good to share.
That's awesome. I'll tell you, the people in line enjoyed it. They as soon as I could get them out there, they were gone. Running back and forth. So that was fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So after, I got to imagine after the next weekend, then you just kind of decompress and relax. You take a trip anywhere, or you just get right back into normal everyday life?
No, yeah, just back to life. I think this next weekend is my last trip in here for the year.
Yeah,
just in here for fun on Memorial Day, and then came on the Dirty Dozen's Midnighter trip. And then this trip and next weekend's trip, and that'll probably be it for me for the year in here.
All right. You do any other four-wheel drive trips? I mean, just you guys.
Been to Moab a couple times, and
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is the main deal.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate all your efforts, because I know this is no small task, and like you say, it's 100% volunteer. The pay gets doubled every year.
Yeah.
0 times 0.
Yeah, we'll
plus
keep adding zeros on the end.
0. But no, it's great, and people do it because of the passion and the camaraderie and everything that it brings to this event. And
it's a good time. We enjoy each other. We have a great crew.
It really is. So, if somebody wanted to volunteer, for this event and get involved with this, how would they do that?
Yeah, if they're interested in being a rocker or a mechanic, they'd talk to somebody up at the at the Jamboree office.
Okay.
And then for cook crew or bar crew, they'd talk to Matt Warden or myself.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Anything else, Alicia, that's popping out at you? Or
No.
how'd you get the nickname Sunshine? You're always bubbly and bright, right?
Good question. So I used to dance with a dance group called Sunshine Generation when I was a little kid, and we used to do a family trip to Buck Island every year, and one of the other families that we camp with named me Sunshine, and his name's Don Pearson, and he's been on the cook crew for 40-something years as well, I believe, and his wife Chris has been in here. Actually, Chris's dad is the person who started the bar. So the bar is called Amos's Place. That was her dad.
Okay.
And anyway, so Dawn named me Sunshine when I was about 5 years old, and it stuck. And a lot of people on our crew don't even know my real name. And
Well, that was it last night. They, everybody got together for the group photo, and then they handed out belt buckles. Right, so really cool commemorative belt buckles. You got a 25-year acknowledgement there, and they announced your name, and everybody's like, "Well, I didn't know that was her name."
Yep, that's true.
I go, "I'm new here, so I really didn't know her name." But yeah, other people that have been here for several years didn't know, and that's probably true with most people that have been here for a long time. They've all got their nicknames and their badges and stuff. So
yeah, it's fun to give trail names. So.
Yeah. That's awesome. Just another aspect of the camaraderie and fun.
Yeah. So even my nickname that people know me inside and out of here started here on the Rubicon.
No kidding. That's super cool. Super cool. Well, right on. I appreciate your time. Appreciate all your efforts. This was a blast. I'm looking forward to coming back next year, and if you'll have me back.
Yeah, looking forward to having you.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
So there you go. I mean, the timing, the logistics, and just getting all that food together to feed people.
Into the place, off the trailers, into the various storage areas, prepped, cooked, and served.
Yeah.
A staff of, 76, I think it was?
So there was 76, but I think 6 of those were bar, part of the American Legions.
Oh, okay.
There. So I only made it over to the bar a couple times.
Well, you had your own bar.
Well, we did. We had our own bar. There was no reason to go over to the bar. That's exactly right. And I may or may not have had some select bourbon at camp.
Oh, well, I'm sure you did.
That we, Patrick, Clint, and Bob and I partook in at the late evening.
Your little downtime when you were talking to the flaming girls.
It was, exactly. They were camped next to us. But everybody was camped next to each other. It was so tight in there. But we had a little nightcap there. It was so cool. That corn shucking part was shucking 20. I didn't know there was that many. 2,200 ears of corn.
Yeah,
2,100,
2,200
years.
The story
of corn.
there about the 2 older ladies that would take 2 days,
2 days
to shuck, and you guys, the 40 people, did it in a half an hour or 20 minutes.
Literally like a half an hour.
Yeah, I mean, you're
fun.
done. Here's another one. It comes in hot.
I'm going to, that'll be my next reel that I post. I got to get that one up. That was super cool. And
and they had the dirty rap going or whatever it was.
Well, it was just an old school rap, little Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre,
Fresh Prince.
No, that's not rap. That's your rap. That's your grandfather rap.
Fuck.
So, yes, glad to be part of that. Just again, it really it was cool because I learned some things about feeding that quantity of people in a remote environment, and it reassured me on a lot that we were doing when we do our crew of 30 or so plus at King of the Hammers and Meadow Lake and stuff. So yeah, it's freaking awesome. So
fucking Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
Well, there you go. It's not the Catalina wine mixer, but it was just as fun as the Catalina wine mixer. So there you go. So, this was Sunday morning. Sat down there with Sunshine after breakfast. Rigs were loaded up and heading out. Bob, Patrick, and Clint were patiently waiting for me to get these interviews. And I said, hey, I got to get this next interview. I mean, he's the head honcho. You got to go straight to the top,
Gotta
right?
get him in the can,
Because
man.
we go with the top people here on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey podcast. We don't mess around.
No.
So I caught Bob Sweeney and I said, "Hey," can you sit down just for a few minutes and just talk about, the 70th Jeepers Jamboree here? He says, "Yeah, I'd love to," in this gravelly voice. And he's got a deep voice to begin with, but he was losing his voice.
You can't handle the
Torques. Exactly. So he says, "Hey, let's do this." So I was super grateful that, it was a long 3.5, 4 days there. So, and he was going, nonstop too. So, he sat down with me and gave some great history and the behind the scenes of, what it takes to put on this Jeepers Jamboree and the, all the volunteers involved,
An epic story. I mean, to hear about how the volunteers, and I mean, going back to Sunshine for a moment, I mean, these people kind of, they work this event, then they go home and then they reset and they travel back up and they come back up for Jeep Jamboree. And that's what Bob was saying.
Yep.
It's like, that is commitment and dedication right there, and I find that to be, inspiring and awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's another one of those things that it's just so much fun. And again, I keep going back to camaraderie and everything, but it's people look forward to this event every year, whether you're a participant or a volunteer.
Yeah.
And, they take care of each and everybody there for the greater cause. And yeah, I hope to get back there next year and continue helping out because it's a cool event.
Yeah. Well, it'd be another legacy, I mean, that's, as you said, some people are third generation, other people might be fourth and fifth generation. I mean, it's pretty 70 years. I mean, that's a long time to be involved with it. With some, was there anybody there that had been around for all 70 of them?
I didn't get to hear. I know Bob was up on the dance floor, doing announcements and stuff, and we were busy cleaning up from dinner and everything, and I didn't get to hear the first part, but I don't know. I gotta imagine somebody was, but I did not get verification on that.
Well, we should. I'd like to. If anybody knows, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah.
Send an email to Wheeling.
Maybe
Wine,
Merlin,
Chris, or Jason at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com.
Yeah.
Well, Well, you want to just roll into that next story and hear it all?
Let's do it. Let's. So Bob apologized about his voice being a little gravelly, but he was going nonstop all weekend, and he's a great announcer and getting the crowd fired up. So. It was cool. Sit down with Bob, and so let's roll into that interview.
Right on. Here it comes.
Okay, we are back here remote. Rubicon Springs, Jeepers Jamboree, 70th Annual 2022. I'm sitting here with none other than Bob Sweeney, Jeepers Jamboree. What's your official title? Head honcho?
No. I'm the guy that said, yes, I'll be the president. I'm the guy that runs around here and takes care of everything, makes sure the toilets are clean, make sure, everybody's doing the right thing. Cooks are all here, the groceries, right groceries. So I'm just the guy that, hey, go get this done.
Right. So, and you were Hulk Hogan last night for the party. You made a damn good Hulk Hogan. I mean, people were doing double takes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. So that was actually wasn't my idea. That was Georgetown Rotary.
Okay.
Yep. They showed up and said, "Here, Bob, you're wearing this tonight." And that's my first time in what have I been coming out here now? 38 years that I've ever put a costume on.
Oh, it was great. Well done. So that was one of my questions. 38 years here involved with Jeepers Jamboree.
As a director, yes.
As a director.
Years, 9 years being the president.
Okay. Yes. All right. And then how long you been involved with off-roading and four-wheeling and all that good stuff?
Well, let me turn my radio down.
No worries.
Folks. Actually, my family history goes way back. Myself, personally, I saw the Rubicon at the age of 13. I rode horseback in here when we were pushing our cows in the mountains. That was the first time I saw it.
Wow.
Then a good friend of mine, Rob Mainwaring, said, "Hey, come on in here and we'll start jeeping." We were 12, 14 years of age, and we came in here at that time with the Jeeps.
Wow. Right on. So you've seen a lot of changes throughout the
Oh,
years.
absolutely, I have. It was funny this morning. Myself and Rick Morris were sitting over there in the corner just chatting about where Rubicon Springs is today compared to what it was back in the day.
So, Rick, I listened to that history lesson, just a wealth of knowledge. Again, there's so many great stories. So what was one of the stories that popped out that you guys chatted about this morning? The big change.
The big change is, unfortunately, this is a podcast, so they really can't see.
Right.
But, everything in here today has been milled off of this land, and we've built some very large structures here. Just they're open beamed structures.
Right.
And back in the day, it was logs just dug in the ground, a tree. It wasn't milled. And then we went with metal.
Okay.
And then the snow would bend that, screw it all up. And today we have these big old 8x8 timbers in the ground and a beautiful structure.
Yeah.
So it's gone with the times, kind of,
Right.
Here we are, 2022 or 23. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
22.
Yeah, 22.
It's been a long weekend.
Yes, it has. Very long. Very long.
Late night last night, long weekend. But yeah, no, the structures are incredible. I've been doing this trail for 30 years, so every time we come into the springs, there's something different, something, upgrade. I mean, I was just checking out when we got here on Thursday morning, the whole food prep area, kitchen, sink, and the food storage there, and that's all brand new too.
Brand new.
Yep.
It used to be all over here by the river.
Right.
And people asked us to get it away from there, so we did.
Yep.
With the times.
Sure.
New rules. So
Sure.
We came in here May 11th was our first work party
Okay.
to start rebuilding all that part.
Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, quite the operation. This is my first year with Jamboree, and I got fully immersed. I got put on food crew, volunteered out here, and what a great experience! And just to see this firsthand.
So your first duties was washing dishes?
It wasn't quite. It was there though. I had dish duty twice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Most news people. We want to wash your hands and see how you do.
that's right, exactly, and see if they come back. So I interviewed Sunshine.
Oh, beautiful.
Just prior to you, so so that was that we laughed about that. I said, I was on dish duty twice. She goes, okay, well, if you come back next year, you only be once.
There you go. There you go. That's good. Sunshine does a beautiful thing.
Wow.
It's all my crew.
Yeah.
We have 320 volunteers that helps us put this on.
Wow.
And Jeepers Jamboree could not do it without those folks.
Right.
It's our backbone. It's what carries the tradition and keep going.
Right. So you got rock rollers out there on the trail that hang out on the trail for Friday and Saturday.
55
rock rollers. Then mechanics. How many
I had
mechanics?
30 mechanics out there.
30 mechanics. And then, of course, the food crew was somewhere in the 76 range, I think she told me, 76, 78.
Something like that, yep. And then the bar crew.
And then you got your bar crew.
Yeah.
And the ice cream crew here.
Yes, yep. And the ice cream is Georgetown Rotary.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So that and that's it. So that needs to be said of the money that goes back into the community from this event. So why don't you talk about that for a minute?
That's huge. Jeepers Jamboree started in 1952. We established in 53. And the big purpose of Jeepers Jamboree starting was to bring revenue into the community, to help the community. Where it has gone now today, it's still helping the community, but the Native Sons, the American Legion, and the Georgetown Rotary, all their proceeds that they get off of this trip goes to scholarships.
Okay.
Last year, 49 scholarships were put out by
man.
this event going on. 49 kids got help to go to school.
That's awesome.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's
and that
amazing.
makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. I mean, people that are volunteering out here, they do it because they love it. It's one of the best places on the face of the earth here, Rubicon Springs, and one of the most famed trails, in off-road. And and then you're giving back to the community at the same time. So you're having fun doing it while you're doing it, and it's all for a good cause. So
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is.
Yeah. So talk about the 70th, the planning that went into this. I mean, I know every year is a huge event, but this year I think we served like 1,600 steaks last night.
Yes, you did.
Saturday night. So that line was going till almost 10 o'clock last night. We were thinking.
Is that how late it was?
Yeah.
Because I was busy up on the stage.
Right.
I was very curious about that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long food line.
So, but
we would probably needed 4 pits.
Yeah. I mean, it was going, but it was fun. So Hickory Hanks there brought some sausage out, and so we were able to keep people fed in line while they were waiting. At least the ones that got here early, that were waiting in line early, so they got some sausage. But in the entertainment last night, holy smokes, the fire dancers, how'd that all come about? And I understand you know somebody in that group.
Yes, I do. So there's a young lady that grew up out here, and Mike and I, my partner, we were talking one day. We need some different entertainment. He says, "Well, let's go to talk to John Arns' daughter because she's doing some wild stuff with hula hoops." I said, "Mike, who wants to watch a hula hoop?" He goes, "No, Bob, we need to go check this out." So we went. We met with her, and she told us what she did. I said, "How are you going to spin a hula hoop around you, flaming
while it's on fire?"
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So we chatted with her. She kind of showed us some videos and stuff, and I got to tell you, the first year, this is their third time here with us. The first year that they came and put on their show, I've never seen so many cell phones here in Rubicon Springs. Because you don't have cell.
You don't get service,
so there's no reason to carry it around.
Right.
But today it's your camera, and there were so many of them up watching. I just went, wow. Yeah. No, last night we had 1,600 people just watching it.
Yeah.
They put on the show like you wouldn't believe. It was great.
So they're camped right next to us here, and I was talking to them, and they're like, "Hey, what'd you think of the show?" I go, "Honestly, it was like being in Las Vegas. I've seen shows in Vegas that weren't that good, and to be out here in the middle of the forest in the Springs and put on a show like that was awesome."
So that's tradition of Jeepers Jamboree. It is something that when Mark Smith and his guys got together, they said, you have to do a spectacular. And the spectacular is something coming out of the woods that you ain't going to expect to see here in Rubicon Springs.
Right.
And that's what keeps people coming back. I have people all the time asking me, what's the entertainment this year? What's going on? I said, you'll see when you're there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not making it. I said, then you're
not going to see it.
You're not going to know.
It's hard. I got to imagine every year you guys set the bar higher and higher, and you got to get real creative each year, huh?
You do.
Yeah.
You really do. It's like our bands. We try to bring in different entertainment. Sometimes we go 2 years with them. Sometimes we only go 1 year because you got to have that stuff.
A little variety.
But it's also when you find a good band or a good entertainment and they stick with you, they get better too because we bring everything in by trailers.
Yeah.
So, it's different than a lot of the gigs they go do. They can have a couple vans full of stuff and use it. Here, you're limited. To a certain amount.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, like the band that plays right when dinner starts up, the dinner line.
Rubber Bullet Band.
Rubber Bullet Band. Those guys were awesome.
Yeah.
They put out some good tunes.
And they're all pickers.
Banjo, the bass. They are. They're all pickers and a little harmonica in there. And they were highly entertaining and sounded great. And again, you saw a bunch of cell phones out just videotaping them as people walked by or were waiting in line. So that's awesome. So some of this infrastructure that's been going on over the years, I mean, you've got, electricity, you've got water, you've got, potable and the washing water. Of course, the kitchen's fully set up. I mean, it's like a full-blown commercial kitchen, all the aspects of it, the dishwashing station, sanitizing and prep area and all that stuff. I mean, to see all that evolve over the years and the number of participants. So what was like early years, what was the number of participants to what you guys cap it at now?
Oh, actually, our 60th anniversary 10 years ago was about 800 more people.
Okay.
Yeah, and I said no.
That was too much.
Too much. Too much. Just like you said earlier, the dinner line was long.
Yeah.
It was actually, that was too long.
Okay.
That was too long. I want to see people in a line no longer than an hour.
Yeah.
I want them to socialize.
Sure.
It's great time to meet a new person.
Right.
And that's why we have the dinner music, and we entertain you as you come in. But over an hour, I gotta look at that.
Okay.
So
well, I didn't hear anybody complaining. So it is, and if you know a few people here, or you don't know anybody, you become friends with by the end of the night. It's that off-road community and sense of camaraderie and everything is so strong in our sport.
Yes, it is.
It's like there's always you drive a Jeep, you drive a Toyota, or whatever. Joking around, but at the end of the night, around the campfire, we're all good friends and help each other out. So
absolutely. Just like you said, we had Broncos in here from old to new,
right?
Toyotas. Old and new, Jeeps, old and new. I think I had 22 old flatties on the trip.
Yeah,
and then I had 175 JLs.
Yeah.
So it goes from one end to the other
with their windows up and the AC on.
Yeah, and they got here in the Springs and they're looking for gasoline because they sat out on the
idling.
Oh
no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh. So how many more years do you see yourself doing this?
Oh, I'm going to see the 100th.
You are going to do the 100th. Good for you.
100th, yes.
Okay. You're going to ride this puppy out.
Yes,
I love it.
The camaraderie, the love of it. My pay of this is seeing those people last night having a great time.
Yeah.
Love it. And like you said, I dressed up as the Hulk last night. I walked around through the crowd all night long, and I bet you there was over 400 pictures taken of me looking goofy.
That is great.
But that's the camaraderie.
Yeah.
That's the people.
Right.
And that's the pay of it. Them doing that, it's the love, like you're saying.
Right.
It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, you're a hell of a MC, and that's why your voice is a little gravelly this morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, but you were fired up. It was impressive to command the crowd, and you get the crowd going and introduce the bands and all the prizes and stuff last night. Man, that raffle was huge too. There was some big ticket items that you were handing out.
Our partnering, I don't call it sponsorships.
Right.
I call it partnering.
Right.
And you see all the names over there on the banner there. Those are all good manufacturers and vendors that they back their product.
Yep.
So, and that shows it on that raffle last night. There was a couple $2,000, $5,000 gifts that we were raffling off.
Right. Yes.
It was awesome.
It was spectacular. And so the people that haven't been here, your armband has a number. So it's not like somebody can come in with $1,000 and try and win all the prizes. It's everybody's got an equal shot at winning those prizes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, because you start calling out numbers and everybody's like looking at their wrists. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yep.
It's one. You get one prize if you win, and you can't be walking away with everything.
With everything, yeah. It's not the big wallet wins.
Right, the big wallet win.
Yeah.
So as things are wrapping down, how much longer are you here? What's your?
Oh, I'm bouncing out today.
Okay.
And go home, get some grocery shopping done on Monday.
Okay.
And then Tuesday morning, I'm bouncing back in on our UTV Conquest.
Okay.
And I'm bringing in 75 UTVs in here.
Oh, wow.
And we'll be in here for 3 days.
Okay.
And we do, actually the UTVs, you get a little more seat time because they're trailer queens.
Sure.
So I bring them in from Blue Lake to here. Then the next day we get up, have breakfast, and we go for a 19-mile ride up Cadillac and out Barker Meadows and Barker Pass.
Oh, cool.
Have a good lunch out there. The Native Sons cook. Then we come back in. We cook dinner here. Next morning, cook breakfast, and then we head back to Luna Lake, and Native Sons serve a hot lunch out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how many side-by-sides?
75.
75. Okay, 75. So that's a good-sized group.
Yes, it is. It's our second year doing UTV Conquest.
That was my next question. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's growing, and as you know, the side-by-side community is immense now. It's just every day. It seems like my friends are getting side-by-sides.
Yes. Very much.
They got their four-wheel drive, and then they got their side-by-side.
So the big reason why my partners and I decided to do a UTV trip was they started getting a bad rap.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to help that out because they're just like all of us. They're off-roaders. They're avics. They love going out in the woods and all that. So we're trying to put the education out like we've done now for 70 years, Jeeping. We're wanting to put that out towards the UTV people and show them you can still have the same lifestyle. You know, this is amazing that way you can go do.
Sure.
But you can't just go blasting out out in the brush over the rocks. You have to stay on the road or the trails.
Yep, tread lightly. Yeah, absolutely. Educating them, because that's the unfortunate byproduct of all that is you can get a very affordable, very capable rig in a side-by-side and not know what you're doing, and tear up the environment, and or
and then
hurt
we all
yourself
lose.
or something.
We
Exactly.
all lose. Not just that when individual, it hurts us all.
It gives all of us a bad name, right?
Yes,
It's like, oh, you're one of those off-roaders or whatever. You know?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So,
Right.
no, that's great. That's awesome to hear that doing that. And then the Jeep Jamboree comes in as
on
well.
Friday.
Yeah.
So I'll leave on Thursday, go back home, get back in my Jeep, come back in on Thursday for our Jeep Jamboree.
Okay.
And this year on Jeep Jamboree, we do a Camp Rubicon.
Okay.
And that's for the kids from the age to 18. And we take them out here and we educate them. We teach them tread lightly things, oil spills, what you do, the drainage, human waste, how to take care of yourself out in the woods and everything. We're trying to take care of the future.
Right
trying
on.
to develop our future so this can continue, so I can see the 100th.
Very, very well said. That's awesome. That's great to hear, Bob. Yeah, that's so key. Yeah, I heard that. Obviously, this is a big party, a great event. But yeah, this next Jeep Jamboree is more family orientated and all that, and then you got that educational aspect for the kids. That's really cool.
To the family,
right on.
Yeah, this one here, I don't recommend to bring.
Don't bring your kid here.
That's why we've raised the age on Jeepers.
Sure,
it's
okay.
at 16.
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
So, and we dropped the age on Jeep, and it's at 6.
Okay,
so it's
good.
It's the same party, same food, same everything.
Right.
Just not let your hair down and go wild.
Yeah. Well, even that, I mean, it was a hell of a party last night, but I didn't see anything getting out of control. And the presence of the sheriffs were here, and they were super cool. I chatted with them for a little bit, and I said, "Hey, anything popping up, guys?" And they're like, "No, everybody's behaving themselves." So that's good.
And that's crazy, 1,600 people.
Yeah.
In a condensed area. It was warm this week.
It was
very warm, and so that means a lot more alcohol was drank.
Yeah.
All right. And it was all a very good crew.
Yeah, that's
great. It was
great.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places you go. You add those things, you're asking for trouble.
You're right.
Here in Rubicon Springs, I think it's the kind of people that come.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah.
So.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It goes back to what we said. It's just the off-roading community and willing to help each other out and take care of each other.
Yes.
Yeah. I noticed the bar was pretty decimated this morning. There wasn't much libations left.
Looking over there right now, I think all they're hauling out is a lot of empty cans.
Holy smokes! How many Jeep trailers of empty cans? They're over there smashing them down right now. But I kept seeing them bring other trailers in and filled up with aluminum cans.
Four of our trailers over there full of empty aluminum cans.
So then I imagine that recycling money goes back into the kids.
Yes,
for supporting those scholarships and everything.
All their tips, everything.
Okay,
everything.
That's awesome.
All goes for scholarships.
Okay.
Yes.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
God, that's awesome, man. Well, I can't wait to see you at the 100th. Here we are. We got 30 years. That'll go quick. You know that.
Oh, yeah. Very quick. Very quick.
And I can't wait to come back next year. I've had friends that do this event, and it just never lined up for me. And I said, I'm making it happen for the 70th, and being able to be part of it and help out in a little small way there with the food crew was super cool.
Well,
I'm going to remember this for a long time.
We need your help. We appreciate your help. Thank you very much.
So, hey, no, I'm not looking for a self-compliment here, but how do people get involved if they do want to help, Bob?
Send me an email to my office and kind of spell out what you do in life.
Okay.
And what you think you can bring to the table for Jeepers Jamboree.
Okay.
And my email is mail@jeepersjamboree.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And say I'd like to be on the crew.
Okay.
And spell it out.
Send Bob an email and give a little history of your what you can bring to the table,
Yes,
what your
yes.
specialty is, or talent, or whatever that you could contribute to this great operation.
Because you were during the photos over there yesterday,
Yes,
right? Okay,
yes.
so you heard us bring those people down, our volunteers.
Yep.
We've had volunteers, so we honored volunteers for 25 years
Correct.
and up.
Yep.
Okay. I have one gal here that 51 years
51 years.
volunteering. Wow. And what? We just did the 70th?
Yeah.
You know,
Hello.
There's some stories right
Yeah.
there. That lady can tell you some stories. but there's quite a few people yesterday got 35 and 40s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our crew sticks with us, but also what I'm getting at is we're all getting a little older.
Need some.
And as you see, we're hustling to
Right.
take care of everybody here. So it's not really old man's game. It's a young man or
It
a young
is.
lady or a young lady's
Yes,
game. you know?
yes, for sure. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and giving back at the same time. So,
Yes.
Wow, yeah, that's so. I noticed the food crew and Sunshine and I talked about this as all the nicknames. So, do the rock rollers and the mechanics and stuff have nicknames too?
Oh, yeah. Everybody does.
Right?
Everybody does.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you got to earn your nickname.
Yes, you do.
You got to own it.
One way or another, you'll
That's
get
right.
one. Yes.
That's so cool. All right, so one last question, Bob. Just either a highlight from this weekend or a highlight that stands out about Jeepers Jamboree over the years?
I'm going to highlight this weekend because it's my fresh thing.
Yeah.
And we were at 34% newbies. And when I said something to the crowd, they gave it right back. So it was my highlight is how we are able to connect with the public. It's the camaraderie.
Right.
I love the vibe I get back to people when I put the vibe out. They throw it right back at me. So solid, so good. That is my highlight.
That's super cool.
'Cause everything's great.
Right.
I can't pick just one.
Right.
It was the whole trip.
Yeah.
It was the whole 4 days in here. Everybody's smiling, walking around. That's why I do it. That's my highlight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to be unhappy at Rubicon Springs.
Oh, if you are, you better hightail out, bud.
you gotta
don't
find
wanna be
something.
here. You don't want to be here then.
Well, Bob, thank you so much for taking the time, and I'm sorry your voice is fading there, but that's just a sign that you had one hell of a weekend and a good time. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's great. So thanks again for your time and everything you do, all your efforts. I know thousands of off-roaders appreciate it and look forward to this event every year, just like I am from now on. So
Well, to look forward also, let me tell everybody here, November 1st is when I open up my sales.
good
So,
point. So
sign
November
up.
1st,
November 1st.
2022 for 2023 Jeepers Jamboree and the Jeep events and stuff
Correct,
that go on
correct.
here.
And all you have to do is sign up one person. And that
Okay.
reserves your spot.
Okay.
I will sell out again fast.
Yes.
I do every year.
Yeah.
And it's getting faster and faster. I had a waiting list of 197 vehicles this year.
Wow.
And there's people on there that's been coming for 25 years.
Wow.
Yes. So please
Okay.
sign up sooner than later.
Get in early.
November 1st.
November 1st, 2022. Put it on your calendar. Put the reminder on your phone so it alerts you, and get ready. Get on that computer and get signed up, because you will not be disappointed if you've never been here before.
You will not. And I'll tell you right now, the 70th was epic. The 71st is even going to be better.
There you go.
Because we're still just practicing.
Just practicing. I love it, Bob. Well, right on. I'll let you get a little reprieve here, and you still got a couple weeks left of here in the Springs. But
Yes.
yeah, congratulations on a great
Thank you.
70th,
Thank
and yeah, well done.
All right, thank you.
Well, there it is. I mean, again, you get a little behind the scenes insight if you've never been there.
Yeah.
Incredible venue. Incredible trail, right? So you're already teed up for success, but then it's all about the party and hanging out in the Springs and everything that there is to do there, and the Rubicon Rooster waking you up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I
As
love
you
it.
mentioned in the last episode.
I love it. if you're gonna
Kaboom.
be, I think we're gonna need to start a tradition like that up at Meadow Lake, but we'll see.
Oh shit.
But getting that, Bob, modestly says he was voluntold, but he's obviously passionate about what he does and the trail and Rubicon Trail Foundation and the Jeepers Jamboree and all the Jeep Jamboree and everything that goes on there.
That
UTV run that's in their second year. Yeah, that just happened. So, it's again, we continue to meet all these great people through the podcast and get their story on little bits and pieces here and there. But I mean, everybody that's out there is wheeling is super cool. And
there's everyday stories, there's extraordinary stories, and there, you hear these people inspire. I mean, they really do. And hopefully, the next, as he was mentioning about part of that interview, he talked about, it's a young person's gig, the older folks, a lot of people, they don't have the energy to keep going with the, the sunlight or sunrise to beyond dark activities and making sure all the things, happen when they're supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And he mentioned it's a young man's game. So they're always looking for people to step up, volunteer, help out.
So that puts us out.
Yeah. Well, I'm way out. I mean, I've got one foot in the grave.
There you go. But yeah, you're right. Exactly. It's the younger generation needs to get involved and step up and do their 20 plus years, get their belt buckle.
That's right.
They were handing out belt buckles there. So on Saturday before the dinner, they got everybody on the food crew together for a group photo, and then they handed out 25 year to Sunshine,
right?
Alicia and. Dan got one. I think he was 45 years. I mean, there was, it was everything in between too. So, that's 45 years.
Well, I mean, think about that. I mean, the commitment to do 45 years, this stuff comes up in your life that could derail your ability to do an event like that. I mean, you got to think, in those 45 years, a child being born didn't come up, a grandchild,
right?
An accident, work got in the way. I mean, that's amazing to me because that shit happens to me all the time.
Yeah, no, it is, and people live for it, right? You got to have something out of your daily grind to look forward to, and I know that's what keeps me going is, these various events throughout the year that, you could focus on. And I always like to say, keep your eye on the prize. And that's exactly it. It's like, no, this is, you got to work and earn your money and keep the family going and the whole thing. But, to have an event of this caliber to look forward to year in and year out, that is, a highlight and something to be passionate about. So it's good. So great to hear from Sunshine, Alicia, and Mr. Sweeney there, Bob Sweeney.
Yep.
To get some insight. There was so many more people I wanted to sit down and interview with, but I had commitments with the work party there, the food crew, and I just It happened. We got those two interviews. I got those two interviews at Sunday morning. Literally, I ran threw everything in my backpack and ran and caught up with Clint and the Broncos so we could head out of the Springs.
Well, how about a round of applause for everybody?
Let's do it. Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Job well done. I'm fired up. I'd like to go to Jeepers Jamboree next year.
You would enjoy it. You really would.
Registration opens, was mentioned in the episode, opens on November 1st.
November 1st, 2022.
And
November
apparently
1st.
It sells out super fast.
It does. So you got to get in, and it's a little bit of coin, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. If you want to go on to one of those events that you're going to come home and go, wow, I should have been doing more of those.
Lorenzo, you got Jason's credit card?
Nope.
Hashtag Lorenzo money. Hashtag Jason money.
Hashtag maxed out. Hashtag nothing left. Hashtag zilch zero.
Let's talk later, Lorenzo.
You need to get Chris's credit card as you did before because you know where he keeps it, obviously.
That card's maxed
when he went on that junket to Mexico.
You boys like Mexico.
Exactly.
You boys like Mexico.
Nice. On it tonight. That's good. So I'm going through some of my notes here because, I like to take notes on my phone while I'm on these events because
Yeah.
I'll forget otherwise.
Old man memory.
Well, no, it's just a lot going on. I'm going to chalk it up to a lot going on. We drove up from Cameron Park on Thursday morning.
Right.
So we had the two Willys, Bob and Patrick's Willys, that have the Buick V6 in them. And I was riding in the luxury wagon, the 69 Bronco, with Ford horsepower, V8. We had zero heating problems or anything. We were pulling over.
Surprised it made it.
It was so funny because Clint would be like, yeah, we're going to be pulling over up here. And sure enough, Bob would pull off to let his V6 cool down. And then, we go up another 15 miles. Okay, we're going to be pulling off up here. Sure enough, we do. And he had it down pat. But we get to South Shore Tahoe, have our breakfast. Like I talked about, the Getaway Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Give them another shout out. Excellent food, excellent service. And, yeah, the more you know. So we got to get fuel, and Bob picks the worst freaking gas station in South Shore. Doesn't have a bathroom or anything.
What?
Oh yeah, this was classic. But anyways, we're fueling up, topping off the tanks, and Patrick's like, "Hang on, I got to put some oil in the rig here." It's a V6. Okay, V6. How many quarts does a V6 Buick V6 hold?
I don't know. My 6-cylinder straight six holds 6 quarts.
Yeah, so it might hold 6 quarts. Typically a V8 holds 6 quarts. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Some of you out there do. But, okay, oil was full leaving Carmichael or Cameron Park.
Uh-huh.
So how many miles to South Shore Tahoe? I don't know exactly, but
60-ish.
under 100.
Yeah.
Just under 100 for those that aren't familiar with Northern California. Under 100 miles.
Okay.
Okay. How much oil do you think Patrick put in his rig?
Well, you're bringing it up, so it had to be something extreme.
Had to be extreme.
Like 4 quarts.
No, it wasn't that extreme. Come on. That's
2.5.
There's not a Dodge.
Shit.
2.5 quarts is exactly right. He poured 2.5 quarts in that freaking engine.
Well, if it ain't,
and we were following him, and it was so funny because Clint has a manly beard.
Uh-huh.
I mean, ZZ Top beard, right? And he goes, it was smoking so bad coming up the hill. He goes, yeah, I'm going to have this oil in my beard till I can get it, in a shower. And it was bad. It was bad.
Well, at least it wasn't leaking out the
Exxon Valdez bad.
The rear main seal.
No, it wasn't leaking, but it was definitely burning more oil than fuel. So it's oil per gallon.
Might be time for a rebuild. Just saying.
Yeah. Did I talk about the sausage patty separation party that I think I did for the biscuit and gravy morning?
No, that's new.
Oh, I didn't talk about that last podcast. Well, so Clint and I were on dish duty that morning.
KP.
And it was biscuit and gravy morning, and I talked about how bad the pot was that had the gravy in it to clean. I'm bringing an angle grinder with a wire wheel next
Chisel.
year. Yeah, wire wheel will work great. It'll just buff it right out. Shit'll buff out.
Shit'll buff
There you
out.
go.
I
Very
don't have
well.
that sound bite. Sorry.
So,
Work on that, Lorenzo.
so we were in there cleaning up some of the dishes from the night before. And so the somebody came in, Mike, Steve, Jason, it might have been, came in and says, hey, can you help us separate sausage patties? And yes. And I'm like, okay. And they were frozen. It was like, I think I did talk about this. There was 5 per stacks, and there was, like 20 in a
you said
Ziploc.
sausage.
Yes.
Is it true what they say about
Jeez.
the way you people are
There we go.
gifted?
That's a great movie. We got to play that at Meadow Lake. Blazing Saddles, for those of you that don't know, the edited 2022 version is like 3 minutes long.
Or 2.5.
So anyways, we literally were getting spatulas and stuff to separate these, and it took hours, and we did not want to see another sausage patty, frozen sausage patty. And then so Clint, poor guy, we were doing that, did dishes, and then for lunch that day was hamburgers Friday.
Uh-huh.
Guess what? Had frozen hamburgers to
You had to
separate.
separate frozen. You got to separate it.
Got to keep them separated, but they were a little bit easier to separate because they were a little more thought out. But anyways, that was one of the obstacles we hit, but we made it happen. It was good. Yeah. What else here? We talked about the pancakes. We talked about Tor Tor from Norway Jeep Club. So I hope he's listening. Tor, we giving you a shout out here because you came all the way from Norway to go run the Rubicon Trail and the Jeepers Jamboree, which is
he's probably back.
The logistics and the money involved is just mind boggling to me. But
Jeep's probably sitting in a container,
right? So, and then Justin, one of the fire dancers, I gave him the card. I said, dude, we got to have you on the podcast because we got to talk about fire dancing in general. I have so many questions.
Well, he wasn't shooting fire out of something, was he?
No, he wasn't, but the girls were, yes.
So they got medicine for that.
They did, yeah, right, exactly. And then one of the, I talked about getting to talk to Danny Grimes, who is pushing 80 years old. Just a living legend, awesome guy, very knowledgeable, lives in Moab, right? Grandpa's Garage,
right.
So he had a quote here that I jotted down. You ready?
I'm ready.
He goes, I'm living the dream and I don't want to wake up.
Well, there it is.
And I love that. It's exactly right.
Sweet.
Making it happen. So what else? We talked about the corn shucking party. That was incredible. Let's see. I think that is about all I have here.
So other than a long drive out on
6-hour ride out
Sunday
from the Springs
morning.
with the trailers. Yep. It was crazy. Now that I've got the lay of the land and how the event goes and how many people are there, it makes sense to, if you're not volunteering, not on the food group, you could leave at dark 100, 5 a.m. and get out in decent time. And but otherwise, I would stay till Monday.
Oh, that's kind of what I was going to say. I mean, because it sounds like it's just a slow slog. Well, no, it doesn't sound. It is.
It is a slow slog.
Sunday to get out of the Springs. So if I run this trail next year, if I can get a spot, I'm not going to volunteer. That's more work than I'm willing to do. I'll pay to have you feed me.
# Chris money. You're going to be there. I want my steak medium rare.
Well done.
Get the F out of here.
Hey, Jason, how you doing back there?
Yeah,
it's awfully hot.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to go hang out of the fire pit.
Perfect. Do it.
Drink my bourbon.
Do it.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I would stay till Monday. Just to have a nice, easy drive out.
For sure. Sure. It would be.
You might even be able to ride right seat with me at that point.
Oh, gosh, that would be a change of things, wouldn't it?
Fuck yeah.
This just in. Chris drives the Rubicon Trail and Jason is passenger.
My JL.
Story to follow.
I'm selling everything.
Oh, look at you.
I'm going to get a latte machine.
Wow. You're going to have the windows rolled up and AC.
No doors, no windows.
No doors, no windows. Okay, so you'd leave the doors off. Well, that's interesting. We got to get, speaking of latte machine, we got to get JL a latte on this run, Rodney. It would be right up his alley.
Well, I mean, this year, as we mentioned before, has been a cluster for me because I changed jobs and whatever. But the big announcement too that hasn't happened on the show is Barrett Lake Trail's open. I'm sure everybody's heard.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell.
It's open.
Barrett Trail's open for pleasure.
My second favorite trail. I love that trail. It's so cool.
So it'll be open until it's not.
Don't say that. Hopefully it'll be open into like the first week of October. It's when we get the first really significant rainfall. Last year it closed due to fire restrictions and fire in the area that Caldor Fire.
You couldn't get there.
And we were afraid that the trail was going to burn down. Or the forest around the trail. But it is, those of you that listen from far away and don't live anywhere near in the western states here, definitely worth your while. You got to come out and do the Rubicon Trail, right? Bucket list item if you're an off-road or four-wheeler.
Yeah.
But carve out an extra day and do it. It typically opens, for August, September.
Yep.
And that's
Maybe
pretty much
October,
it, and maybe into October. But if you can plan it out where you can run Rubicon and Barrett, you would check off 2 huge items on your bucket list of off-roading. It is a 6-mile trail in, 6-mile trail out, and fantastic. It's a great
in that area too.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's other, and then Fordyce. If you're like hardcore rock crawler and you want to go do Fordyce too.
Well, Fordyce is.
I mean, that's the trifecta right there.
A little bit of a poke, but I mean,
it's all right there. I mean, if you're traveling from freaking 1,000 miles away, it's worth it. So, anyways, do it. But Rubicon Trail, the crown jewel, as Jeepers Jamboree puts it, definitely awesome. And yeah, I'm a little remiss. I could have got Dave Cole interview. He was just bumming around in his beach shorts there, in camp. Driving? I don't know. I didn't see. I mean, I didn't get out of camp much. I was in the Springs the entire time. I did walk. I didn't get all the way to the bridge, but I did walk past the mechanics camp, the caretaker's cabin, mechanics camps right there, and then all the people that are camped on either side of the road.
Right. I saw pictures of that.
Yeah.
Did you make it to the river?
Yeah, because we were camped right on the river behind the kitchen, the VIP camp they call it.
Floating around doing nothing?
Dude, that was how it was hot. It was unseasonably extra hot up there. Not terrible, but it was warm. And so when you got done with your shift, I mean, it was like, let's all put on the suits and head to the river. And we were all hanging out. And it was pretty cool because our section, I mean, the downriver was like super party central all day long, the slabs and everything, Rocky Point, Dirty Dozen Camp, all that stuff, with the waterfalls and rope swings and stuff. Never made it down there. I wanted to walk down there during the day, but I never made it down there. But we would, we had our inner tubes and stuff and jump in the water and, get cooled off and cleaned up before the next shift. So it was like I think the most, at one time it was about an hour. We got to spend about an hour in the river at any given time. And a couple times it was literally like 10 minutes. So yeah. Anyways, great event. Check it out. Rubicon Rooster. That's my final thought. I love that. I just love it. You need to experience it. Hearing that type of artillery going off in the middle of the canyon is great. Oh, and I did get one final thought here. So Ben Bowers is Charlene's dad.
Yes.
Charlene Bowers' dad, right, that we interviewed on the last podcast. So he emailed me. He had heard the episode, right, and me talking about the Rubicon Rooster. He used to play Reverie after...
with like a trumpet?
Yeah, with a trumpet.
A bugle?
Bugle, I guess, technically, right?
Yeah.
So he used to play that after the Rubicon Rooster would go off. And I'm like, oh my God, that would be freaking epic. But, he says, getting older now, my lips can't do it anymore. And it's just super... I mean, again...
I got to have that lip control.
The stories go on and on about the event. So check it out. Make it happen. Jeepers Jamboree, 71st, November 1st of 2022. You can register. Right. So I think that pretty much puts a bow on it.
Sweet. Yeah, no, that was a great report. I'm excited. I want to register and go next year. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if you make it.
I know. We'll try. All right. So, hey, if you like the show, make sure you tell a friend, spread the word.
Even if you don't like the show, tell a friend.
Like the show. I mean, tell
them how great it is.
We have good times. We have
Lie
fun.
about it.
We haven't had a bourbon or a wine episode in a while.
No, we'll do it. We just been busy. It's summer, man.
Summer.
There's a lot of events
season,
going on.
Right?
Wheeling season.
As Tyler likes to say, it's wheeling season. Actually, he's more into the snow.
That's all right.
Or dropping drive shafts on ice house.
It's wrenching season for him in the summer. It's wheeling season in the snow time.
The last picture I saw of a snail trail rig was Jimmy's rig, and it had just drive lines sitting on the ground.
It had a front and rear drive line sitting on the ground.
So I guess he had no T cases.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
You don't need those torques.
No torques. Of course, they're going to respond and say, that fucking Chris never wheels. Well, Chris has on fucking vacation time.
Well, there we go.
So anyway, if you like the show, like we said, spread the word. Don't forget about irate4x4.com, where you can become a Barrel Society member if you so desire. If you don't want to support the show, you can still just join Irate 4x4, and it's free.
It is.
And you can get into the forums, and there's lots of great information in there. If you're building a rig or if you have questions, try to stay out of the hardcore rig if you're a newbie, because or hardcore section, because some of them will tear you up pretty good. But it's like the old forums. But if you want to communicate with Jason or Chris, you can send us emails at Jason or Chris at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. Don't forget about our phone number. That's 408-800-5169. Send us an email or a voicemail there, and most likely it'll get played on the air. What are you laughing at?
I opened up iRate 4x4, and I just clicked on the Debt Collectors episode 166, and your picture you posted.
Oh, you like that?
That's pretty good.
You hadn't seen that before?
No, I hadn't seen that till
great.
now.
Yeah, that was a good snag.
So good.
So, so you broke my train. Don't forget about the IG. You can DM Jason there if you want to. Jason runs the Instagram page, so it's at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. You can DM Jason there, and of course we have lots of great reels, photos, and stories that get posted regularly there.
So we have a little correction right here. I'm glad I opened this up. Did you read what Charles Locke said from Australia?
No, sir.
No, so I screwed up, so all the Australians sound the same to me, apparently. But the first one that called in, the debt collector, was Charles Locke.
Oh, it was?
The second one was Aaron, or Aarron. So Aaron called from Down Under Collections. So I apologize. So there's a correction. We don't correct ourselves a whole lot here on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. We try to be very factual right out of the gate.
Our research group is huge.
Lorenzo does do a phenomenal job with research, but so there is a great correction right there. Episode 166, the debt collector episode. I had miscalculated that as assumed that it was the same person. It wasn't.
They don't have caller ID
No.
I'm not going to try to do an Australian accent.
Yeah, so then he posted pictures of them getting after it in Australia.
Like he's sending it.
Yes, he is totally sending it. So if you haven't gone to iRate 4x4, go to the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey podcast page.
Which is under Watch, Listen, and Discuss.
Just go right past the snail trail there, and then go right to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, and then click on that. Charles has got some great pictures, wheeling pictures down under. So
yes,
that is on my bucket list. I got to make it to Australia and do some wheeling in Australia.
Yes, sir.
Down under with no Vegemite. Anyways,
so yeah,
check out iRate 4x4.
Absolutely. What was I going to say then?
I totally scred up your train of thought. I'm sorry.
Blew me out of the water.
I'm sorry, but it was worth it. You had to make a correction here.
Yeah, you did.
I'm glad we caught that.
I can't remember now. So we're just going to close it up.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
You want to repeat the phone number?
408-800-5169. 408-800-5169. 408-800-5169. They say if you say it 3 times, you remember it.
4 times.
Oh, well, you said it.
I said it once.
Give us a call. Give us a like. Send us a 5-star review on Apple iTunes. And
that's what I was going to say.
We love the interaction. And of course, I will send you a Wheeling Wine and Whiskey sticker if you DM me and say that you gave us a 5-star review.
Oh, and I just wanted to say one last comment.
And if you don't drive a Dodge, I'll give you 2.
Driving down here today, this guy was breaking so many trailering laws I was losing my shit. It was a Jeep Wrangler, probably a JK.
Okay.
Lifted to the moon with probably 37s at least.
Okay.
But way too big of a lift. And he had light bars up the wazoo, towing a U-Haul trailer in the far left lane going at least 80 miles an hour. It was like he passed me like I was standing still.
Really?
Yeah. He was in the left lane on 680 southbound with a U-Haul trailer. You know the U-Haul trailers have that little sticker that says
"Yep,
don't exceed 55."
Yep.
So first of all, he was breaking the speed limit. He was in the completely wrong lane for towing, and he had 4. Count them 4. What are those quads?
Quads
in the trailer.
Quad. Okay.
So the guy was doing 80, breaking the speed limit.
Wow.
In the left lane, towing a trailer that should have been going 55.
Wow.
I was just like, whatever, dude.
There you go.
I wish there was a cop around.
Yeah.
I know.
Takes
I'm
all
perfect.
kinds.
I'm perfect. But
all right.
not.
Well, there you go.
Anything else?
Nope. With that,
We're out.